For China, winning the vaccine race was never an option. At least 22 Chinese institutions were pressed into action. 22. The task before them, 17 vaccine development projects. According to some reports, China developed a Wuhan virus vaccine as early as February 2020. You heard that right, February last year. It started clinical trials in March, published results in May 2020. In China's view, it was leading the vaccine race. In reality, not so much. This is the story of how China tried to cheat in the vaccine race. Let me first take you through a quick timeline. In December 2019, China finally reported the Wuhan virus outbreak to the World Health Organization. In January 2020, China exported the virus. On the 13th of January 2020, the first case of the Wuhan virus was reported outside China. On the 11th of March, the WHO declared a pandemic. By May, China had successfully brought the world to a standstill. China's next plan of action was to fast-track vaccines. In May 2020, Xi Jinping declared that Chinese vaccines will be a quote-unquote global public good. But our world is smarter than what China perceives it to be. Not many countries signed up for Chinese vaccines, so the dragon began pushing its vaccines, distributing them as donation, especially to low and middle-income countries. In July 2020, China promised a $1 billion vaccine loan for Latin American and Caribbean countries. We don't know if it was ever delivered. As of March 2021, here's where China stands in the vaccine race. Our world has more than 195 sovereign states. Only 28 are inoculating its people with Chinese vaccines. Did you know China also tried to forcefully inoculate people? Take a look at this headline. If Brazil was protesting Chinese vaccines, the mood was not too different back home. In Beijing, health workers were scared to get themselves inoculated. The South China Morning Post says less than 74% of the staff in the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention in Beijing would get immunized voluntarily. Would you question their concerns? Chinese companies have not been transparent in announcing results of phase 3 trials. Only CanSino's vaccine has reportedly conducted trials on people above the age of 60. There are also questions on efficacy of these vaccines. In Brazil, Sinovac's trials yielded an efficacy rate of just over 50%. Elsewhere, in Turkey, the UAE and Indonesia, the results were inconsistent. If there is concern, there is also competition. From Russia, Sputnik 5, the United States Moderna vaccine, the Made in India AstraZeneca jabs, the Pfizer vaccine. While the Chinese jabs crumble under tough competition, it is Chinese President Xi Jinping whose prestige is being hammered. Vaccines were his way of projecting China as a global health leader. Xi Jinping wanted to demonstrate China's technological prowess. The vaccines were his way of boosting China's influence, generating goodwill, a degree of indebtedness, perhaps even awe. It's not playing out as he planned it. The world sees through China's design, so much so that in 2020, Chinese state media Xinhua had to issue a warning. It is sinister to accuse China of vaccine diplomacy, it says. Well, Xinhua forgot that as early as March 2020, China itself had given away its sinister plot to the world. This was when a Chinese press release referred to a Chinese medical shipment as the Health Silk Road. What do you make of that? It did not take long for the world to realize that China's vaccine nationalism is pretty much an extended version of its Belt and Road project. There is no donation or development. There is only danger here. Debt trapping of poor countries. China planned, spent and schemed to win this vaccine race. Well, it lost. To whom? The country it came second to in Ladakh, India. India's vaccine metri is taking off. So far, Made in India jabs have reached 72 countries. 37 countries have been given vaccines for free. 34 countries have got vaccines under the COVAX alliance. This is according to India's Ministry of External Affairs. Here's some truth that may be too bitter for Xi Jinping to swallow. Vaccine was always India's race. In 2019, China's share in the value of United Nations procured medical products was just 1.9%. India's was 21.9%. Of the 155 WHO pre-qualified vaccines, only 4 were from China, 44 were from India. India is the world's pharmacy, the world's largest producer of vaccines, and it's not even about numbers, it's about trust. India's vaccine metri is an emblem of leadership, India's role in healing the world, exemplary benevolence. Indian vaccines are proving to be the emblem of trust. Chinese vaccines, the least favored in the world. And I'm referring to this YouGov survey. And with this, I rest my case. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.